In this video I want to show you some of these hoverboards that I've been getting at auction. They're like Amazon returns, and I can usually get them for under $20, a lot of times even under $10, and a lot of them are brand new but not functioning. So this is another one that I bought. I haven't even opened it yet, but let's just see what's inside. It looks like it's brand new. Has the charger and everything with it. And you can see that it is brand new. I mean, it's, you know, there's no scratches on it, no nothing. Tires are still complete. So this is a brand new unit. So these are returns. I think a lot of times, you know, you hit the power button, nothing's happening. Doesn't seem to have power. You take the charger, and you know, obviously they would have at least tried to charge it, so it's something more than just not being charged. So when you try to charge it, you can see that it does not try to charge. So the question is, what's going on? And so we need to pull the battery. Generally they have a speaker on one side, and then the other side has the battery in it. So we're going to pull the screws out of the one side. So there's 12 screws holding the cover on. So you just pull those 12 screws out. It's pretty easy math. Make a profit. And so I tend to watch the ads and see what's out there. So you pull all those screws out, and this comes off. Like I said, you can tell it's like brand new. I mean, it's never seen the road. So here's the battery, and you've got the one connector right here for the battery to go into the harness. And so the first thing to always do is to unplug the battery and see what the voltage is, because more times than not it's the battery that's causing the problem, for one reason or another. So you can test and see what voltage the battery is at, and it's showing nothing. It's showing no voltage at all to the battery. So probably means it's got a bad battery in it. The next thing to do is to actually pull the battery out. So they kind of tuck all these wires in here just so that they don't get caught up on anything. And so you can pull all these little wires out of here. And then you can see it's pretty easy to get to the battery. And all these wires seem fine. They all seem intact. I'm not seeing anything obvious. Yeah, everything looks fine. So the next thing to do after you test the battery right there, you can pull the battery out and take a closer look at the battery. So chances are this hoverboard is completely fine. It's the battery that's probably the problem. Obviously, it's not going to turn on if the battery doesn't have any voltage. So the question is, why doesn't the battery have any voltage? pull all these screws out and so you can pull the battery out, and it's a nice little case actually on this one. Most of them are just double-sided tape stuck down there, so the fact that this has a nice little case is kind of cool. Of course, the problem with that is I have no idea how this case is supposed to open. This looks like has so that it has little tabs that click onto these things, and obviously I broke that one trying to get it off, but that's the problem. Is so the thing to do would be to squeeze the outside. So if I'd squeezed it like that, it would have popped off. So good to know for future reference. But alright, so certainly didn't damage it too much. It'll still be usable. So let's see what's going on in here. You've got the battery, and looks like the BMS board is on this side. Looks like it has some sort of a heat shrink on it. Not sure what's, just extra packaging, I assume. So you need to get to the BMS board to see what's going on. So let's just see if we can pull this back. That would have been too easy, huh? So the main things you want to get to, anyway, you don't necessarily have to pull this all the way off since it's just tearing, but you've got the positive and negative right here for the battery, which of course will be the same as the outlet, or the, you know, it's, so it's definitely got nothing there. But then if you look on the board, the way BMS works on most of these is that it cuts out the negative. So you can see there's B8, B6, B4, B2 on one side, and then this side's going to be the other ones. B9, B7, B5, B3, and then here in the corner is your B negative. So this right here is your negative. You can see your B positives right here. So this is the negative and that's the positive. So what you want to test is see if bypassing the BMS board by going straight to the negative. It's showing 27 volts, I think. So you can see right here, bypassing the BMS board, it's 27.9 volts. So the battery is low, and most of these BMS boards cut off if you go below like 35. So what you need to do is you plug the battery into the charger. And so what I've done is I took one of these out of an old broken hoverboard and made an adapter. So I'm able to take the supplied charger. This is the charger that came with it. And I can plug it into this. So now I know that this will be trying to charge it, right? So this is and you could, if you don't have one of these, you could plug it back in and go straight through the charging port here. So you don't necessarily have to use this. If you, I work on a lot of them. So you could do it this way. You could plug it back in and then plug the charger in just like you normally would, okay? But then the big trick is you take a jumper wire. So you just take a couple alligator clips like this and you jump the negative from here to the negative on the BMS, on the non-BMS negative. So basically you're bypassing the BMS board so that you can get the battery up to above 35 or whatever the cutoff is for this particular board. So you clip that on. You want to clip it on to the negative over here. And if you watch the charger, you'll see it's green right now. If you touch it to the negative, guess I was wrong. Usually it'll start to charge once you clip this on. It's not wanting to clip on, so I'm gonna pull the tubing up a little bit so that I can clip it on. Okay. So now in theory, it's bypassing the BMS board. So then you could take your meter again and see if it's actually charging at all. So again, we were touching the positive and the negative. You see it's 27.9. Kind of makes me wonder if the charger isn't working. Or maybe the cord's broken. Because it's definitely not. Yeah, it's showing 27.9. So a good test would be to see if for some reason that charger doesn't work. So you can use a charger you know is working and try that. So you can see this charger turned red. So there's a pretty good chance that the whole problem with this hoverboard was that it came with a bad charger. Probably should have tested that first before I had to take the battery apart. Yeah, because it's charging just fine. So that's a good note to self, huh? Just rather than take the battery apart, try a different charger first. Because apparently it was a bad charger that was causing the issue. And now just for test, you can see that the positive and the negative over here are showing 33.6 33.7, so you can see it's going up. So it's charging, and that's not an unreasonable amount of, the battery's lower than it should be, but it's not so bad that it most likely the battery is okay. So I may not have even had to have taken it out of the case, because it seems like it was working okay. Not sure. I think it was like this. Yeah, it was like this. So since it's charging, I might as well put it back together and yep. So yeah, it's charging good. So let me try to bend things back. Probably was a little forceful with that, but that's about right. Alright, I don't pretend to be an expert at any of this stuff, but I don't mind getting my hands dirty and saving myself a bunch of money, because let's face it, if this ends up fixing it, which it looks like it probably will, then I got myself a nice brand new hoverboard for like $10 and like an hour of my time. That seems like a pretty good deal for somebody on a budget. I've said it a bunch of times on this channel. I tend to try to do things really cheap because I'm not made of money and I have a lot of kids. So anyway, it's so yeah, it looks like probably just need to wait about 4 hours for this battery to charge, and then I can give it a test. But it's pretty cool that you can get a brand new hoverboard and then just figure out what's going on with the battery. I mean, I have others that like were damaged that came with chargers, so having a bad charger really isn't too big a deal to me. And you can buy them pretty cheap if you need to just buy a charger. Yeah, if it turns out that was the only thing wrong with this, then that's a pretty good deal. Alright, and then all of these wires were kind of tucked in here just to keep them from getting hung up in anything. So that's really it as far as putting it back together. It's ready to go, and then you just reconnect that. Reconnect this wire. And put this back on. Just gotta make sure that everything's out of the way where it's supposed to be. Looks good and tight. And depending upon how confident you are, you can just put a few screws in to test it. Or if you feel pretty confident that that was the problem, you can bolt it back down, wait for it to finish charging, and you're good to go. So I'll wait, I'll test it, I'll let it charge for like until it's fully charged, and then I'll test it, make sure it works, and then I'll put the rest of the screws back in. But yeah, in this case it looked like the battery was too low. It's most likely that the charger was bad. I'll test that charger on other things, because it could be that the charger just won't work until it's above 35. I get that a lot, but anyway, you can see that it's charging, and We checked it with the voltmeter. So yeah, that's a $150 hoverboard for $10 and an hour of my time. Thanks for watching.